I was muted. Welcome to Hitchhiking Stars YouTube channel. This is part 2, October, the turning point and the intensity of the astrology of October. So the first part we already talked about, a couple of important transits there. They're still hanging on, they're still happening. I also asked in the comments, so some of you talked about where these placements are in your chart. So I thought I could say a couple of words on that. But we also gonna see what else in October, which is the purpose of this video. So let me quickly share my screen. And remember, I think it keeps coming to me, the idea of the astrology, constructive astrology, actually, that's the word. It keeps coming back to me, constructive astrology, because for me, the idea of using astrological symbolism rather than fear-mongering and going, oh no, this is gonna go bad and da-da, is all about trying to brainstorm the most creative possibility that that symbol could represent. Astrological symbols are multivalent. They can come out into, you know, the world, into reality, into life in various different ways. So it's all about empowering ourselves and trying to find out what works for us, what's the best way. Okay, so moving on from that, with that clarified, we talked about Saturn and Saturn turning direct. If you want to see what we were, talking about, just check part 1 of this video, just click on that. But some of you has Saturn on midheaven. So that's a lot about your direction, getting clearer about your sense of direction in life. What's your role, your reputation, choices around that, decisions that will need to be made around that. Saturn also in the 5th house has something to do with giving birth to something. We say the 5th house has children, but it's actually the house of creation. So being creative and being very serious about your creations. And, so forth. So Saturn asks us to master whichever area. It gives us that opportunity to master that area, to make some very important decisions there. Someone's having a Saturn return, which is a very, very important time as well, of like giving birth to yourself as an adult, without clutches, without people's expectations, regardless of what outside expectations are. So when Saturn turns direct in a few days, those are some of the themes that came up from the comments there. So let's move on and let's do part 2 now. And the part 2, really, I want to talk about the new moon eclipse. This is one of the things that I really want to talk about. It will be on the 25th of October, will be happening at 2 degrees. I know I mentioned it in the previous video. So we have Sun, Venus, and Moon. Is a lot about our personal values there as well, and new beginnings around that. But what I wanted to say is eclipse season, nothing to be scared of. I think it's more like a portal. It's like an in-between. It's like a liminal space that we find ourselves. And remember, new moon eclipse is usually followed by a full moon eclipse. So between the 25th of October and the 8th of November is the eclipse season. We can put a few days before, a few days after as well, if we are very sensitive to energies. But this is the window of transformation and really being able to up our games, being able to really upgrade something in our lives. And then brainstorming where the 2 degrees Scorpio is in your chart, like I asking some of the comments there, will give you further clues about what is it that you're ready to let go, that you're ready to move on from, that you're ready to start a fresh new beginning. Just to have a sense, there are 2 eclipse seasons per year usually, and the last eclipse season that we had was the end of April to 16th of May. So we had a new moon eclipse at 10 degrees Taurus at the end of April, and then we had a full moon with the moon in Scorpio, 25 degrees Scorpio, on the 16th of May as well. So again, we're on the Scorpio Taurus axis, which is a lot about my resources, other people's resources, values, self-worth. There's a lot of that connected to these two signs. So do you have planets in those signs? Do you have personal planets in any of the fixed signs around those degrees? Do you have any of your angles in those degrees? So the changes will be around those areas there for you. So, really look into it, take your time. And I think, with the energies and the turning points and the retrogradations and etc., it is a great time to ponder rather than take immediate action. And talking about that, the other thing that I really wanted to mention in this video is that on the 30th of October, which is in that window of the eclipse season, really, Mars will turn retrograde. So that's another one to keep track, to look into your chart, see where is Gemini in your chart. 25 degrees Gemini, and it will go back into 8th degrees Gemini. So where is 25 degrees Gemini there? Because that's where that will be the spotlight there in terms of anger, in terms of action, in terms of people being angry with you, Mars in the 7th, or, how do you do your finance? How do you communicate? More energy in that, less energy, etc. So really look at that and try to find it. But I think the general idea with that Mars going retrograde is don't rush, take any action. I think that goes with the feeling of the end of the year, 3 months ahead there, to revisit, to rethink, to redo things, to see what worked, what didn't work, what needs to go, what needs to be relaunched, and take your time with that rather than rushing into having to make a premature action or a decision there, because the stars are kind of reflection that sense of moving inwards a bit, looking inside and trying to find the answers inside, doing a little bit of a clearing there, so you know what needs to be invested, where you need to invest your time more, and how to take those actions. So Mars will be retrograde until the 8th, not the 8th, until the 12th of January. So until mid-January, if you can postpone launchings or big, big steps, big actions, you'd be really aligned with the movement of the planets there. Again, not for fear more. It doesn't mean that if you do take action, it will go wrong, or something really bad will happen. But it's just that, if we align ourselves, there's a sense of removal of obstacles. Things kind of flow a little bit easier, it requires a little less effort on our part. So if you can take this time to go inwards and analyze what actions you want to take and find where that Gemini is for you, write down in the comments below as well, and I can talk a little bit about in the next video as well. And also the last thing I want to say, because I want to keep it a little bit short, is Jupiter popping back into Pisces. So this is going to happen a couple of days before. It will be on Halloween. So see, 27th, Jupiter is still in Aries. So the 28th will pop back into Pisces and revisit our dreams, I guess, our big visions. When Jupiter and Neptune made a conjunction, 24 degrees Pisces, which happened earlier this year, I think it was around February. There is a video about that if you want to click and watch it. We will have some opportunities there to revisit those dreams. Jupiter will be back in Pisces until December. Let me have a look here and give you a date as well. So the 21st of December, Jupiter will go back to Aries again for good. So from now till the 20th of December, we have an opportunity to revisit our dreams again and align them with our actions and align them with the person we're becoming, because, after the eclipse season. So there's a lot of aligning energies and revisiting and reassessing and this sort of turning point of October. So I hope this is helpful. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you want to look into something specific or any house that's being triggered in your chart. What does that mean? Or any guidance that you're looking for and I can help you with. And have a wonderful, restful new moon eclipse. And I will be seeing you all next week.